In this video, I'll introduce overloaded constructors. Assuming that you have setters for all the private fields of shirt, you could instantiate and initialize a shirt object by instantiating it and then setting the various fields through the setter methods. However, Java provides a much more convenient way to instantiate and initialize an object by using a special method called a constructor. At the bottom of the screen, you can see an example of a constructor. All classes have at least one constructor. If the code doesn't include an explicit constructor, the Java compiler automatically supplies a no-argument constructor. This is called the default constructor. Constructors are usually used to initialize fields in an object. They can receive arguments, and when you create a constructor with arguments, the default no-argument constructor is removed. The shirt example shown in this code example has a constructor on lines 8 through 12 that accepts 3 values to initialize 3 of the object's fields. Because setColorCode ensures that an invalid code cannot be set, the constructor can just call this method. When you explicitly create an overloaded constructor, it replaces the default no-argument constructor. So why are we able to instantiate a shirt object with shirt myShirt equals newShirt, even if we didn't actually create that no-argument constructor? If there's no explicit constructor in a class, Java assumes that you want to be able to instantiate the class, and it gives you an implicit default no-argument constructor. Otherwise, how could we instantiate the class? This example shows a new constructor that takes arguments. When we do this, Java removes the implicit default constructor. Therefore, if we try to use shirt myShirt equals newShirt, the compiler can't find this constructor because it no longer exists. This code shows 3 overloaded constructors. A default no-argument constructor on lines 5 to 7, a constructor with 1 parameter, a car, on lines 9 to 11, and a constructor with 2 parameters, a car and a double, on lines 12 to 16. This third constructor sets both the color code field and the price field. Notice that we're using this keyword to set the color code field. It would be possible to set color code with a simple call to set color code, just as the previous constructor does, but there's another option as shown here. You can chain the constructors by calling the second constructor in the first line of the third constructor using the this keyword followed by the argument in parentheses. The keyword this is a reference to the current object. In this case, it references the constructor method with a matching signature from this class. This technique of chaining constructors is especially useful when one constructor has some, perhaps complex code associated with setting fields. We wouldn't want to duplicate this code in another constructor, and so we chain the constructors.